Okay, so obviously that title is at least somewhat of a joke, but I think you'll see if you continue the video why it came to mind for me earlier. This is just a little something that I came upon while I was getting distracted on lunch break earlier today, and thought it would be interesting, thought it would be worth talking about while I slowly get the bigger videos edited. So both Solo Leveling and DanDaDan are available for pre-order at the moment, and as you can see, July 22nd, June 10th, they're within a month or so of the same release date. They're both around 12 or 13 episodes, have about the same amount of content between both the show itself and the bonuses, as you can see. And as I'm sure pretty much everyone is aware, both of these not too long ago were streaming on Crunchyroll, right? So most people would assume that Crunchyroll picked up the licenses for both of these. Crunchyroll obviously got the license for Solo Leveling's home physical release. As you can see, the logo is right here. Obviously, Crunchyroll has strong ties to Solo Leveling, to Aniplex, to Sony. A1 Studios is under Aniplex, which is under Sony. So really tight connections there. This was always going to be a Crunchyroll physical release. However, what really shocked me a few months ago was to find out that DanDaDan's home and theatrical releases were actually being licensed by GKids / Shout Factory / Shout Studio, whatever name you might or might not know them for. So GKids is usually better known for home and theatrical releases, re-releases, remasters, upscales of Ghibli films, Satoshi Kon films, a couple of classic anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion, which finally got a re-release through them. It's not perfect. You're never going to get a perfect audio release of this one unless you buy the old DVDs, but pretty good for the price. And I don't have any of these. I don't think any of them have released yet, but they've also been working on some 4K remasters of old Mamoru Oshii films, such as Ghost in the Shell and Angel's Egg. So once again, just color me surprised to have seen them pick up a big flashy action shonen type story, weird as it might be, in DanDaDan, especially seeing as this seemed like a layup for Crunchyroll to pick this up, right? It seemed obvious. But what you might notice, as I've been flipping back and forth between these, is there's a huge price discrepancy. It's about half the cost. Also, it's cheaper on Amazon than it is on Crunchyroll's own store. Oh my god, what is happening? But once again, it's just wild because these are obviously appealing to similar demographics, even if they're not exactly the same. We all know that most of the people watching these are the shonen bros, the sakuga bros, the people who want to see a big flashy action shonen-esque series. And yet, same episode count, about the same amount of bonus features, but consequentially, because Crunchyroll wasn't the one to pick this up, GKids was, we get the same amount of content for half the price. Now, it is possible that some of this fault is due to Aniplex. I mean, they're famous for having ridiculously overpriced Blu-rays, right? But I don't know, because Jujutsu Kaisen was basically the same way, right? I don't remember exactly how much it costed initially, but it was very expensive. Frieren has come down quite a bit. Oh, and by the way, since I didn't think to mention it in the moment, the fact that many of Crunchyroll's sort of flagship shonen series have either gone down considerably in price over time or went on huge sales here and there is all the more reason to hold the line and wait for a period in time where it's not $60 for 12 episodes of this show, tempting as it might be for fellow collectors such as myself. As is the sort of ongoing theme of the video, now is a perfect time to instead pick up the DanDaDan Blu-rays, or maybe grab a backlog pick if you've got the itchy fingers for anime Blu-rays, as I often do. Anyway, enough of this. As you can see, 36% off for $22.49, even though I don't think that one's actually available anymore. Yeah, I don't know why my brain just broke while I was recording and I forgot about the see all buying options, but as you can see, if we actually select the filter and only show new items, they're all above $40, and ironically, once again, go to the Crunchyroll website and it's even more money. And just for the record, it's already on sale, and even if you apply the 25% off code, you're gonna still end up paying, I think, $41 or $42. So anyway, back to the video. And yet, same amount of content, half the price through GKids. So obviously this is one of those things that I've been like looking for the excuse to bring up for a while, but it bears keeping in mind that if you want to see cheaper physical releases, if you want to see better trends in physical releases of anime, you should probably support like really good, value effective, cost effective releases when they do come around. And I think this is obviously a standout of that. And it's coming from a company who isn't Crunchyroll, but who is doing the work that Crunchyroll isn't doing for some strange reason, and is doing it for likely half the price that they would. It's also just a good show, but you know, if you just needed one more reason to pick this one up, I would just really like to see the trends change away from, you know, two companies basically ruling seasonal anime, and I feel like this is the first really big step in that direction. This is the perfect opportunity to, you know, buy this one up like crazy and send the message that we're happy to buy physical releases at a cost-effective price from companies who are not, you know, the usual Crunchyroll, Sentai, etc. Not that I don't have plenty of releases from those. You get my point, right? As long as we're on the subject, I noticed, while once again getting distracted on lunch, that there is finally a US edition, a Region 1 US edition of Chainsaw Man coming to Blu-ray. Obviously this is a limited edition, so it's not cheap. It's worth pointing out, I mean, this is what I done. Just picked up the UK release, which you can tell by this little rating symbol right here. You'll always see the little number in the colored circle for the UK release. Gotta have a region-free Blu-ray player, but you should have a region-free Blu-ray player if you're collecting anime Blu-rays, let's be honest. Anyway, this one, interestingly enough, if you were to just scroll down, you would see studio distribution services. Pretty sure that's just a placeholder though, because if you go up here, click, you'll see distributed in the United States and Canada by Warner Home Video. Now, everyone knows Warner Bros, so that's apparently who ended up picking up Chainsaw Man. Once again, somehow, like, Crunchyroll's label might be right here, but they were not the ones who decided to pick this up for distribution. Even though, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the UK release is licensed by Crunchyroll. Yeah, see, that's so strange that it's being distributed in the US by Warner Bros. Probably just an example of them dropping the ball on picking up that license, but I don't know. So obviously everyone knows who Warner Home Video, Warner Bros. Is. It might sound weird to hear them attached to like big shonen anime, but they've actually been licensing the 1000-Year Blood War for home release as well, while Hulu and Disney Plus have been streaming it. And basically the same thing has ended up happening with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. We don't see the back of it here, but if we scroll down, and I've actually got it on the shelf over there. I would just show you, but I'm kind of like catacombed into the desk, and the microphone is like right on top of me. I'm not used to doing this, so let's just, you know, maybe next time. But anyway, JoJo's, Bleach, 1000-Year Blood War, and now Chainsaw Man, all under Warner Home Video. Once again, I'm sure a lot of people aren't a big fan of Warner Home Video in particular. Unlike GKids, I love GKids across the board. Haven't picked up a bad release from them yet. Warner Bro probably got some haters, but it's just worth pointing out again to make the point clear that it's not just Crunchyroll and High Dive, for example, who are licensing up all of the new anime, and you know, maybe in some cases they're just dropping the ball on picking some of those up. There are a lot of other companies floating around that mostly license out old classics that, you know, obviously Crunchyroll would never pick up. Sentai I do see picking up, like Ninja Slayer, for example, which I have on the shelf behind me. But there are also a lot of companies who are also picking up older, more niche works, and in some cases much more risque works as well, which are more freely available than they probably ever have been in the United States. And, you know, just if you feel like supporting some of the ones who are doing the work that companies like Crunchyroll aren't, I think it's a good idea. Anyway, just to come back around to Chainsaw Man once again, you can get this UK release if you'd rather just go ahead and pick it up. It's about $40 on Amazon. You could also get it a bit cheaper over on eBay as well. Once again, obviously, you would need a region-free Blu-ray player, but once again, like, you should really have one. So many of these shows are just so much cheaper ordered from the UK than the US. But anyway, not sure if this was the most interesting way to start trying to do vlogs again, but I saw this earlier and I was just like, it's perfect opportunity to just sit down and talk about something that maybe doesn't interest a whole lot of other people, but certainly interests me. I like thinking about, where the trends and these physical releases are going. I think the tide could be shifting in a couple of ways, and I think what you've seen in this video alone obviously shows a little bit of that. But anyway, I'm gonna try to do more videos like this, maybe not as long as this one, maybe not about weird niche topics like home video releases of shonen anime, but gotta start somewhere, right? Anyway, that's about it. Peace.